We personally know people that are making a lot of money, and when I say a lot, like I'm talking millions of dollars a year flipping houses. Now they're obviously flipping hundreds of houses, but you can obviously get to that point once you're in the business long enough and you have scale. We personally know one guy that's flipping like over 200 houses here in the Triangle, so that's Raleigh, Durham. I think he's making like $5 million a year just flipping houses. So today we're gonna check out 3 properties, and these 3 properties or flips are gonna net us and our partners 150,000 in profit. Yeah, so net. Sorry, I was thinking net and gross. I didn't take business class in college. So these properties, all of them are in Durham. All of them are, I guess, technically single family. They're not commercial. And the goal is obviously to be able to do that repeatedly per month, right? So that way you can hit a $1 million threshold in a year. So let's go check out this house. So guys, this is Operation Homeland. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath here in Durham, North Carolina. We're at about, I think, 1,600 square feet here, 1988 build. So this property met our criteria. We're always looking for basically nothing that's older than 1960. I know that 1960s is pretty old, but once you start getting into the older products, you start running into a lot of issues, whether that's structural issues, foundation, or electrical, plumbing, all that, and we want to avoid that. Then the next thing, crime. Very low crime area is what we look to. Now, we still don't want to have people shooting right down the street or at the street. We just want to see low crime. So the reason we liked this area is because 1, it's an up and coming area, but 2, very, very low crime. So nothing crazy going on here or nearby. We always like to see comps that support obviously our end price. This one had very, very strong comps that supported us exiting after putting in the renovations that we're planning on doing. We always like to buy properties that have very strong comps so that we take less risk. Kerwin in the background. So as I mentioned, we have our workers here working. They're putting down tile for the shower. But as I had mentioned, this is a 1988 build. So subflooring was great, was in great shape. Electrical, great shape. Plumbing was also, plumbing was, it needed a little bit of work, but it was fine. Structurally, house was awesome, which is why we like to buy newer builds. And when I say newer, obviously take that with a grain of salt. We're not out here buying brand new constructions because then there's no way to flip them. But yeah. Right now, we're trying to target an exit price or an ARV of 450 or less, meaning that we're buying these houses, depending on how much work, at $300,000 or less, and then obviously putting money into them where we can exit for a profit. Why we're doing this right now is because in the current environment, right, if you're thinking about interest rates going forward and just currently, for people that are watching this in the future, interest rates are currently at 7.5%. So if you're thinking about the end buyer, their interest rate or their mortgage payments are going to be significantly higher at 500 plus ARVs. Now, people are still buying those houses, but personally, I think there's still a lot of demand for 450 starter homes here in the Triangle and in the markets we're investing in. This deal here we actually got from a wholesaler. If you don't know what wholesaling is, that's for another video, but basically found this one from a wholesaler. We paid them their assignment fee and now we're owners of it. When they brought it to us originally, I think they were asking like 50,000 more than what we locked it up for, and we just couldn't make the numbers work at that. We told them where we had to be. They went back, renegotiated the seller, and then came back to us and said, hey, can you do it for this price? It was a little bit higher than what we were originally looking to pay for it, but we're willing to take a little bit more risk because of the area on this one. Now, we also do submit a lot of offers on distress, so to say, properties that are on the market with agents, right? Everyone sees them, so literally all investors or people that aren't investors are seeing these properties, which means that they get bidded up. So we've been outbid on all of them, but you can find deals on the market as well. We have friends that actually buy a lot of deals on the market. They have a lot more luck, I guess, than us. Obviously, as you can see behind us, we have $500,000 houses going up right next to our house or our flip. Obviously, it's good. It's a good thing that it's going up right next to the house, but if people are buying $500,000 houses, what kind of area does that tell you that this is or becoming, right? You don't necessarily want to see this right next to your flip, but in the general area, it's always good to see some kind of new supply. I wouldn't say a lot of new supply. I wouldn't say like it's a really good thing because obviously they're competition, but if people are paying 500,000 and our ARV is 350, same square footage, if not theirs is a lot smaller, then someone's going to buy our house. So although we are pretty knowledgeable when it comes to underwriting and trying to figure out what this house could sell for. During the process before we bought it, while we were in negotiations with the wholesaler, we reached out to our agent who's going to be listing this on the back end for us to ask her what she thought this could sell for. And then she was able to get comps off of the MLS, which is the listing service, pretty much has all the data of what all the houses are usually listed for, their square footage, etc. So basically, she was able to come up with a CMA, which is just a market report for all the comps, and showed us what this house, based off square footage and based off similar product, would sell for on the back end. Now, that's very useful because, again, although we are very experienced, she's going to be the one listing it. So we always like to get her input before we buy something, and that way we kind of know what we're looking at on the back end. So with the CMA, that helps you pull the comps so that you can pinpoint the ARV or what you're eventually going to be selling this for. A lot of people, when they're underwriting the deals, they usually use 70% or 75% of ARV minus the repairs is what your purchase price is. That is, it works, but we like to use an analyzer. That way we can pinpoint all of our expenses. That's holding costs, taxes, insurance, closing costs, and then ARV, repairs, etc. So if you guys want that analyzer, let us know in the comments below. We have friends that are agents, and they're the ones that help us. But if you don't, what I would do is go find a property that's on the market. You can go to Zillow.com, find one that's listed, that's obviously been flipped, meaning that all the repairs are probably done. In the description, it'll probably say new tile, new flooring, new paint, new everything, right? Call that listing agent and ask her if she works with investors. You can do that a few times, or you can just do that once. Find the agent, ask her if she's open to working with investors, and if they're open to providing CMAs for properties that you're looking to buy. Let's go inside and look at the bathroom. Miguel,
grado, ¿cuál va? ¿Qué color va?
Eso todo blanco.
Blanco, piso y todo.
On the floors, so check out the floors, we have marble look like. So it looks like marble, but tile, porcelain. This was supposed to be black, so that it was all black, and then this one side white, so it's kind of like an accent, but they messed up. It's okay though, it still looks good. I like it. And then obviously black floor for towel shower. In order to close this deal, we have a hard money loan, which, we have a few different connections for hard money loans, but there's a lot of hard money lenders out there. And then we brought in an investor on the back end, right, for gap lending. There's people out there, believe it or not, that want to invest their money for a certain return, and they're willing to do that on an asset like real estate. So when we're looking at deals, we're sending the deals to the hard money lenders because they're sending us term sheets, right? What we're going to be paying in interest, how much they're willing to lend on this deal based off of what they see, I guess, ARV being. So during the process of us finding and looking for deals, we're sending these to the hard money lender. Now, once we have the deal under contract, that's when we then bring in the investor that's going to invest in the deal to fund the project. That's kind of how we do it. I mean, you can do it different ways, but that's just how we do it. I would recommend having hard money lenders that you're already in communication with kind of lined up, right? You might never have closed a deal with them, but you should at least know who to reach out to. And then also, it would definitely help if you don't have your own money to have investors that are looking to invest that you've already had that conversation with before finding the deal, or while you're looking for deals, but before you have the deal. So first, we go out with ourselves and our contractor to take a look at the deal, have them give us a bid, and we come up with the plan as to what we're looking to do, right? So if there was a wall, right, for example, in between the kitchen and the living room, which we're in now, we would then tell our contractor, hey, like, this is what we're looking to do. We're looking to knock this down so it can flow better, etc. They'll give us the quote for the whole project. And then we'll also later, after seeing it ourselves and having the contractor bid, if the numbers still make sense, we'll have an inspector go out and just do a full thorough inspection of the property. That way we know and have a heads up of what we have to repair and make sure that there isn't anything that we didn't see with our own eyes or that our contractor didn't see with their eyes. So that's kind of what we do, I guess, during the due diligence process. It's not necessarily like an official due diligence process, but we're just inspecting the property. So this house in particular, we're always conservative. So we have different levers we can pull during the whole process in case something crazy happens, right? So we're always over budget, or we budget a little bit more on the renovation. So in case renovation goes over, obviously we can pull on that contingency fund that we have. We always estimate a longer hold time. We're underwriting 5 to 6 months, but in reality, we are usually renovating these in 30 days and then putting them on the market. Obviously, once it's on the market, we don't know how long it'll take to sell, but likely not gonna take 3 or 4 more months. We have some levers there. And lastly, we're always conservative on our exit price or our ARV. Usually there's a lot of upside to these, meaning that we can probably sell it for more than what we underwrote it to. So we feel comfortable at the ARV that we underwrote to, but we could easily see, especially since we do good work, we can easily see it selling for more. So those are the levers that we can kind of pull and that we're pulling on this deal and all the deals that we're really doing currently. So contractors, on this deal, we already had our contractor, but the way that we went about finding contractors is, number one, asking for referrals. If you have people that are flipping houses, or just honestly, if you just ask around, I'm sure you'll be able to find someone that does contracting or subcontracting if you're looking to do it. There's two different ways, whatever. Also, you can go on Facebook. A lot of contractors speak Spanish and or are Hispanic. I don't understand why there's a key. The way we're competitive on winning deals, and in particular this deal, is, you know, obviously we had already told the wholesaler what price we needed to be at. They knew that. We were willing to put our EMD, $5,000 hard day one, into escrow to lock this deal up. We've actually already closed a deal with them, so that obviously helps. We have a little bit of a track record with them. They know we can close. They like us. And we already had our team in place, so we knew our numbers. We tightened up our numbers, not to be aggressive, but just tightened it so we can be competitive. Having contractors and your investors and hard money loan lined up helps you move faster and helps you offer faster, which obviously helps you close the deal quicker. We're gonna go check out the duplex that we've been working on for a little bit, so it's a little bit further along than this one. That's where we're headed to now.
Please fasten passenger seat belt.
What's there? We'll say hi first. We're now at the duplex. You guys can see behind me, we got brand new windows, but basically we're currently I wanna say 4 to 5 weeks into this one. And probably have another 3-ish weeks left from now till being able to fully stage and on the market. So we're coming up close on our timeline here. Typical timeline is about 4 weeks that we're taking, 4 to maybe 5 weeks. But this one, since it's a duplex, so there's 2 kitchens and then obviously 2 bathrooms. And then the roof was also needing to be repaired really badly. So this one took a little bit longer. I think this one's gonna be, it's closer to like a 7-week project. So a little bit more time, but not too bad. Let me show you guys inside really quick. So they're currently painting in that room, or in that unit, I mean. Primer's gone in on this side, but we're getting close. We're getting to that point where it's almost done. We got brand new cabinets. This is the kitchen, brand new cabinets. We're waiting on countertop. We just put in this laundry room, or I guess closet, laundry closet, I guess you would call it. And then there's 2 bedrooms. So there's 1 bedroom here. Yeah. 1 bedroom here. We bought it, we found that this shower, behind this whole shower, and honestly this whole bathroom, everything was rotten. So we had to reframe everything and then also put new sheetrock in, sand it down, or mud it, sand it, and now it's being painted. So you always run into that. We obviously didn't know that until we ripped the sheetrock off on the shower, because you obviously can't see behind the wall until you take the wall off. So you always run into problems like that, but you won't know until you know. Whenever you're doing projects, you want to make sure you have some cash on hand. So we typically like to have 3 to 4 months of interest payments to our hard money lender on hand, as well as 30 to maybe 40% of the renovation budget on hand at not all times, right? Because you are fronting the renovations and then pulling the draws from the hard money lender. But when you close, that's what we tend to have. And we're raising that as a gap fund or gap funding from investors. That's pretty much what we're raising, along with a down payment if you do have a down payment with your lender. You don't necessarily have to. We like to have our own capital set aside as well in case we run over or for whatever reason need to inject capital. And the reason that is important is because you want to make sure you're able to make your payments so that you never lose the property, but also you're able to make the renovations, because if you can't renovate, it's going to take you a long time, and if it takes you a long time, eventually you will run out of money and then you lose the property. So the more you know. For project management, you have to stay on top of your contractors. Make sure that they're working, making sure that they're, I guess, doing it correctly as they're doing the work. And then also make sure that they're not taking too long and they're actually doing what you want as far as like design, whatever it is, right? Whatever you're looking for them to do, make sure that they're doing it. I like to come every once or twice a week to check up on all the properties, sometimes more frequently, but once, twice is probably fine. Obviously, the more you come, every time I come, I always learn something. I'm always asking questions. If something doesn't look right, I ask questions so that I can figure out what it should look like for next time and or how to fix it currently. But obviously, the more you're there, the more you're gonna learn. So as you can see, they're putting primer on the walls before they paint it. What's the green stuff? I think it's trash. How do they have that covered? So that paint doesn't get on it. I got paint on my hands. That kind of wraps us up here. We're gonna head over to Emerald to show you guys what a finished product after we renovate looks like. And we're gonna give you some tips on the listing process, post-listing, staging, why we do it, why not to do it, etc. We'll touch on that at Operation Emerald. October's on. So, as you guys can see, this is the finished product. You can see that it's furnished or staged. We used to never stage, but this product or this house was a higher ARV. So we put it on the market for $465. So we thought staging it would make it look a lot better. It helped. I mean, it makes it feel like home. If you can see throughout, I mean, it really makes you feel like this is your house, you're already living in it. And people buy emotionally, right? So it's an emotional buy. I love this house because of this. It feels like home. So if you make it feel like home, you're more likely to probably get more offers and then more likely to sell it. And in this market, those two are very important. When you're completed or when the contractor says, I am done, you usually have a final walkthrough with them, right? So you'll go with them to the property, walk through it with them just to make sure that they didn't miss anything, whether there needs to be touch-up paint, whatever the case may be, right? Just to make sure that they didn't miss anything before you release their final payment. Yeah, you just walk through it just to make sure everything looks good. Especially in this market, our agent agrees, but we like to list the property lower than what we think, not necessarily that it's worth, but what we think we can get. Because right now, eyeballs and tours, so how many people are looking at your property, you're listing, how many people are touring it, super important. So if you list really high, you are taking away a lot of buyers that would have looked at your property, but since it's too high or they think maybe it's too expensive based off what they think might have been worth, you can get people to bid up the property if you listed a little bit lower than what you think it'll sell for. So we like to do that. That's what we did on this property, and we got 30,000 over ask. Granted, there was different factors that played into that, but overall, just generally speaking, we like to list lower so that we can try to bid it up. So while you're under contract, you want to make sure that you obviously continue to pay the utilities. Try to keep it clean. I mean, obviously someone's going to move in, they're probably going to clean, but keep it as clean as you can. And then also always make sure you lock up all the windows, all the doors. That way no one gets in, steals anything. People are crazy nowadays. If you guys have watched our previous video, you know that we had gotten our HVAC unit stolen at one of our other properties. There's not much you can do to prevent that, but you know, like I said, just want to make sure you lock up because people will potentially break in depending on what area you're in. If they see that a house is being flipped or vacant, they'll steal copper, steal HVAC units, steal whatever they can, or they're just break in to sleep there, which you don't want either. On these 3 projects, we and our partners will make a net. So after all expenses, after paying commissions, after all holding costs, everything, roughly $150,000. And it probably took us about 3 to 4 months, I'd say. It averages out about $50,000 per house or per project. So for example, this house, we bought it for $300,000. We went way over budget on this one, but we also did things that we thought could also increase the value. So we bought it for $300,000. Originally, we anticipated putting about 65 into it. We put closer to 80,000 into it because we realized, hey, if we go a little bit more luxurious, we'll get a higher price, which our ROI was higher. So bought for 300, put about 80,000 into it. That's all in about 380. We listed for 465, but got an offer at 495, took a 490 offer, so 490,000 is what we're under contract at. Since we're partnering with one of our friends and he's an agent or she's an agent, we're only paying 2.5% agent commission, so 2.5% off of the under contract price, which is 12,250, plus our all-in is about 380. So we're all in a little under 395, not including holding costs. Payments on this property was about $3,800 a month on our hard money loan, and we were paying our investors roughly another $600 a month. So 600 plus 3,800 is 4,400, and we've done 2 payments going on 3. So let's do that times 3 plus, let's say 395. So 408, let's say 410 is our rough all-in price plus staging. So we staged about 4K on staging. So basically, roughly, we're making a net of about 70,000 on this deal after repairs. Now, numbers are a little off. I'm probably forgetting utilities and all the minute stuff, but basically 70,000 net after all expenses, after paying off commissions, after paying off the lender, etc. on this one property between our partners and I. Again, on average, so the other deals are a little bit less, but this one was a little bit higher of an ARV on the back end, so it is a higher spread usually. That is pretty much going to conclude this video. I don't know if Kerwin has posted the video of me watering this grass. I think on our Instagram you guys probably saw us or me watering this grass, but at first, when we first started, or when we had threw the seed down and the hay down, this back here, it looked really bad, like red clay, ugly, no grass at all. And now look at the grass is growing beautiful, it's green, it looks healthy. And that is pretty much like a metaphor for this business and really just life, right? So you put work in, you've got to plant seeds, wait for them to grow, put the work in, give it time, be patient, and things will eventually give off fruit and it'll be beautiful. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, comment them down below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Follow us on Instagram at Donis Brothers, pretty much everywhere. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace.